All right, so we just added color holds. You can see on black what they do very clearly, but also you want to do them in a way that looks good on all your backgrounds. That makes it more versatile. But the problem is, no matter what you do with the black line art, to really get it to show up equally on all backgrounds, sometimes you have to add something a little extra, and that extra is what's called an offset. So this is like the frilly crown on top of a fancy toothpick that goes through the olive. So how do we add an offset? It's actually incredibly easy. I have a certain way I like to do it, which helps with professional printing, and that's to make what's called a base layer. So I'm going to start by making a base layer. You don't have to do it this way, but it works. So what I'm going to do is turn off all my backgrounds. And now, even with the color holds, I'm really aware of where the pixels start and stop, right? If you want your color holds to go beyond your line art, then they would be part of your base layer as well. Mine are all trimmed to the line art. Now I'm going to go to my very top layer that's visible, or folder, hold down Option, and say Layer Merge Visible. What this does is give me a single layer where every choice I've made is there. I do that so that then I can double click and then do a color overlay at 100% normal mode. And this will be my base ink. Think of it like printing on a black t-shirt. First you have to turn the black into a white so that you can print colors on top of it, because you can't print colors on top of black with pigment. So I'm going to change this from whatever color to white. So now this is my base coat. And it's on top of everything. And I might even call it base layer. And when I move it down below, it's actually really helpful, because if I have any low opacity in my coloring, this will fill in behind it with 100% white. Okay, now here's the key. On this base layer, I can now add what's called an offset. And these are anything that goes beyond the line art, on the outside edges of the line art. So an offset isn't always on top of the line art. Sometimes it's underneath it. And the way I do it, it's almost always underneath it. So it's easiest to see on black. So what's the easiest way to make black line art show up on a black t-shirt? It's to add a white stroke around it. Think of sticker design. Sticker designs always have kind of a clean white border, or most of the time have a clean white border around them. So how do you do that? You do it with a stroke. You set the stroke to be white at 100%. You do it on the outside, right? And because it's on the base coat layer, it's radiating out from just a white shape. You can make it as thick as you want. So if I was doing this as a sticker design, I'd make it pretty thick so that these holes are very controlled, not super nitpicky like that. Because that makes it a much more difficult sticker to hold together. I want all these things to connect in that sticker, because otherwise they'd have to be individual stickers. Right? So maybe something strong like that. Now, does that show up on different backgrounds? Absolutely. And then on a white background, it's not even going to matter, right? But on off-white or red or blue or green, maybe I like that. So that's one kind. That's what I call a hard-edged offset, right? But let's look at the example in my handout. This is a soft-edged offset. So how do we do that? Just make a duplicate. I'll show you the difference. So this is a base layer. I'm going to make this one a soft-edged. This is kind of like the opposite of a drop shadow. I'm going to turn off the stroke, and instead I'm going to put what's called an outer glow. Now, an outer glow, you can control the color. I'm going to use white, just a standard white offset, but then I can play with the size and the spread. Right? So I'm going to make this more subtle. So I'm going to keep the spread low, but the size big, and that's going to soften it out. I can also give it what's called noise. Noise. And maybe that works better for your concept as an offset. Now, offsets just make it more flexible, right? They're not required, but I kind of like that as an offset. Now, that works a little bit better maybe as a t-shirt design than as a sticker design. So I have a soft edge base layer and a hard edge base layer. And I could turn them both on, but the hard edge is bigger and stronger, so it's going to overwrite the other. Right. So that's the difference. Okay, now I've done all the tricks I know to play with it. So now it's time to make it a finished digital file. And then I'm going to teach you how to make it a professional print-ready file. Not just for our printers, but for a 4-color offset lithography press. But when I'm looking at it on these different backgrounds, these are kind of your final decisions. I'm realizing I want to darken the line art in a few areas. So I'm going to go to my color holds, and I'm going to duplicate them and then merge the group. So merge the group all into one layer. And that allows me then to use burn and to just darken the line art where I think it needs to be darkened. Kind of down the core there, in the hand there. Because that offset makes it so I don't need to keep this lighter than black anymore in certain places. And then I can see the difference. Right? Yeah, so I think that works pretty well. We'll darken just a little bit at this edge. Okay. So, first, to make it a finished digital file, you turn off all your background layers. But notice now I have an offset built into it, and I'm going to save that as a PNG. First I save it as a PSD for myself, then I save a copy once it's ready. Because all of these sandwich toppings and stuff on top of the black bread, they add a lot of memory. And then I'm going to make it a PNG with special effects. Because I've already posted my full color spot illustration. This is my SFX one. Sometimes you go overboard, and maybe I did, right? But I'm doing it to show you all these things. So now I go to my assignment. And this is optional to post. This is not a requirement. You just need some form of digital coloring under vector line art. So, optional, color holds, and offset added. And then I'm going to take that PNG that I just saved. Today, and I drag and drop it in. And I'll mark it orange, and I'll shrink it to fit. Now, in order to do the presentation critique today, you're going to tell me what product you think it works best on, right? So to do that, I need to go to Redbubble. You'll find it under links. I need to create an account just with any email. It's free. And then I'm going to open up a new example. So I'm going to add new art and show you how easy it is to add it once you have your PNG. After this, I'll show you how to color separate it for professional printing. This is for print on demand printing. So you just keep it as a good quality digital file. Okay, so I put it in And I need to give it a title that's required. So I'm just going to call this, remember, you can keep this all private to you. So optimistic vote sticker. And I won't fill out the tags or the description because I'm not ready to sell this. Tags help people find it, right? But what I am ready to do is figure out what product it's going to work well on. So I think it works well as a sticker. I love stickers. You don't have to change anything for the sticker. But talking about its flexibility with your offsets, if you take their standard clothing, which is like 50 different options, just from this one selection, you can decide, does it look best on black or on gray or on heather or on dark heather or on brown or on yellow. And ideally, you want it to look good on all of them, right? Because for print on demand, the buyer gets to choose the color. Maybe eggplant. Yeah, I kind of like that. All right, so now I can actually size it. Notice we built it on 11 by 14 by 350. We have plenty of resolution to fill any size t-shirt, even an extra, extra, extra large. Because resolution is everything. And our vector line art allows us to even go bigger than that if we need it. But I want to place it on the shirt where I want it. And then I apply those changes. Right? Then I can do it for their large print. You can have fun with this. Now let's go to the more extreme examples. So a shower curtain. This is also big enough to print on a shower curtain, but it would just be kind of centered on it. So what if I wanted that shower curtain to have a repetitive pattern of it? Well, I can also do that because this is a PNG. So I'm going to do what's called an offset grid. We're going to be learning more about offsets. And then I can pick a background color using hex codes, right? And just find what I think is a flattering background for it. I kind of like the purple, which is appropriate thematically for red and blue states, right? Mixing together. It's why there's a lot of purple in the illustration. And if I wanted to repeat that, I would just grab that hex code. But then that's what the shower curtain would look like, how the comforter would look like, how the duvet would look, on and on. Same thing with scarves, which are fun to play with because they're somewhat translucent, right? I can take that color, take that pattern, take a size. I like offsetting. And I can just copy and paste that color in. But I didn't copy and paste it. So I could go back and get it, or I could pick a different color. Right? I'll copy and paste that just in case. You can make mugs, you can make clocks, you can make bath mats, all these different things. Socks are fun. Leggings, I voted leggings. So again, I'll play with these ideas, this flexibility. Be a really tiny pattern, and now it will steal this background color. Why is it not doing it? I am selecting it. But anyway. So what does this look like? How do you finish it off? Well, I am going to set it so it's only me that can look at it. Right? So only private. And then I have to say whether it's kid safe or not. And I'm going to say this is design and illustration, digital art. And then, yes, I confirm that I have the right to sell this image. And then I save the work. Now, because I made it only viewable to me, only I can see the products, only I can buy the products. You're logged into your account, you'll always have the option. But it's not publicly for sale. Okay. So now I get this beautiful list, right? Ooh, they have holographic stickers now. That's a new product. So I might look at that product page.